Last week in the Lenovo Pro Series, Emily York Watson absolutely dominated the field at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And now we enter this race with just 7 races to go in the 2025 season. And we enter with 7 drivers that have a realistic chance to leave here as the new point leader. It is race 11 on the season at Miles the Monster at Dover Motor Speedway, and it is the Grotto Pizza 150 for race 11 of the Lenovo Pro Series season. Hello everyone, it is Nathan here and welcome to Dover Motor Speedway, and after 1 week over in the Midwest, we are back here on the Northeast, and we are here for the next 2 races as we are at Pocono next week. But first we got Miles the Monster here at Dover, and you gotta see how this race unfolds with all of the different scenarios with the point situation. We gotta see how it all goes down. 38 laps on tap here tonight, and we gotta see on who can tame Miles the Monster, and we gotta see if Emily York Watson can dominate from the pole again and win 2 in a row. And we got a packed booth here. We got the owner's point leader of Logan Williams and Logan School up here in the booth, and we got Matthew Hubert and Vision Motorsports up here as well. So welcome to the booth, and I'm going to start out with you, Logan. Dover is a very chaotic racetrack at times, but with the significant tire about a second and a half for these guys, gotta manage for stuff. We saw in the sprint series, probably see it here tonight, gonna see some comers and goers. What do these drivers in the front need to do to manage the stuff and keep it up towards the front at the end?
I think the key for this race is going to be getting to the front early because, as you mentioned with the tire wear here, it gets bad. The concrete surface here is pretty old, and you're going to want to get up front to because it's going to be really hard to pass in the second half of this race. So it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it.
Absolutely, it's going to get harder to pass as these tires get worn down. We gotta see how that all plays out. And for you, Matthew, we got a very interesting championship bout now. Juan Rodriguez, who had like a 40-point lead at one point, is down to only 8. And he's still steeping the field once again here tonight. And a lot of his other competitors, like Emily York Watson, Sammy Camara, Javier Vasquez, etc., all still up towards the front. So for Juan Rodriguez, what does he need to do? Somehow work his way from the back to the front and somehow survive and be the point leader still leaving Dover here tonight.
That would be easier said than done for Juan Rodriguez, especially with the guys up front. Emily York Watson starting on pole, Sammy Camara behind him in third, and even long shots here saying that he's only 30 points back. BB Ruiz starting there in 7th. So it's going to be a bit more difficult for Juan Rodriguez in the 16 car to get his way back up to the front, especially with the tire wear in mind.
Absolutely. Everything has changed here in the middle part of the season, and really in the month of October. Things have really flipped upside down in this title fight, and we have multiple drivers of a chance, and we gotta see how it all goes down. Juan Rodriguez is still the point leader, but for how much longer, Sammy Camara is in second, -8. Emily York Watson, last week's winner, in dominant fashion at ILP, -12. Angel Gutierrez in fourth, -14. Jay Littleton also -14. Neil Zonka in sixth, -15. And then you got Javier Vasquez, -16. Those 7 drivers could, in theory, if something crazy happens here tonight, be the point leader going into Pocono next week. And then BP Ruiz in 8th, -30. Hallie Anson Jr. in 9th, -38. And Carson Miller, last year's champion, on a little bit of a part-time schedule, done 7 races so far, is in 10th, -49. And with that being said, here is the starting lineup and the drivers for race number 11 on the season. On the pole is last week's winner of Emily York Watson, and alongside him is the number 77 of Alexander Lowe. There's number 62 of Sammy Camara and the 63 of Chase McClure. the number 41 of Angel Gutierrez, and the 17 of Javier Vasquez, the number 33 of Bibi Ruiz, and the 78 of Marco Espina, the number 32 of Carson Miller, and the 27 of Justin Perez, the number 51 of Mark Richardson, and the number 87 of Colin Jones, the number 47 of Angel Gutierrez, and the number 7 of Bradley Lewin, the number 64 of Neil Zonka, and the 25 of Howard Anderson Jr., the number 80 of Garrett Gronkowski, and the number 88 of Wyatt McIntyre, the number 99 of Xander Jeffrey, and the 16 point leader for most of the season so far, it is Juan Rodriguez. It is Garrett Gronkowski in the number 80. I said that he was in the 40. That is actually Trey Wilburton. So my apologies there. The number 23 of Charles Bowens. The number 71, that is Joshua Neely. The number 37 of Dylan Matthews. The number 61 of Lewis Toys. And the number 72 of Jules Guzana. So, we gotta see how it all goes down here tonight at Miles Monster. Well, Logan and then Matthew, this is a very chaotic racetrack at times, especially with the tire weather, who are lower picks to win the Grotto Pizza 150 for race 11 on the season.
Well, I'm going to take a guy on the inside lane, a couple rows back, Matt Black for Racing Motorsports. I like him to get it done tonight because it's hard to get up on that outside lane here at Dover. It can be chaotic, but it is still a one-lane track. You don't want to get stuck up there.
Well, I am going for a car that has not had the best of luck lately. One of my own cars, in fact, the 51 of Mark Richardson.
We'll see if you can do an anti-curse for that 51 car. The 63 other team's been solid, but this 51 has had a lot of bad luck syndrome here so far this season. We gotta see what ends up happening. Can Emily York Watson go 2 in a row? Or will Alexander Rowe, who knows a thing about winning 2 in a row in the Sprint Series this year, steal it from her? Race 11 on the season is underway. It is Pro Series night in America for the Grotto Pizza 150 at Dover Motor Speedway. Just like at ILP last week, a fantastic jump from Emily York Watson in the number 52 machine. But how about Sam McNamara all the way on the move, second in points, second on the racetrack. Housing Roll slips up a little bit. Gotta be maybe a little bit careful on exit to not get too tight and smack the wall. But a single file started throughout the top 5-7 cars. And we got a lot of movement throughout the back part of the field.
And it's looking really comfortable up front so far, though, for the 52 of Emily York Watson. I don't think she's going to win by three seconds like she did last week at IRP, but she looks like she has a good car underneath her for now. It's still early on, though.
Yeah, and especially their 77 of Alexander Rowe, and now the 41 there. Matt Black has had not the best luck at all. 17th in points, despite doing all 10 races. And Alexander Rowe as well. He was 13th in points now. Was further back in the field before winning Watkins Glen. So, Racing Motorsports already has free wins this season. But it's going to be a bit difficult to get past this 52 with the speed she's going lately.
Absolutely, that 52 has been really fast throughout the month of October, and really all season long just haven't been able to punch it into victory lane. But now that the car is in victory lane once, maybe gets to go back to victory lane again. And clearly, like you were saying, Logan, this is a one-lane racetrack, and the 63 got shoved up top and is going to lose 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 spots. So definitely don't want to be up top. And definitely seen a lot of movement throughout the field already. Ruiz is under fire from Richardson in the number 51, but is calm for now. But the top four are under a blanket, and they're not letting this 52 pull away with the 62. And both racing multiples cars. If racing multiples wins again, this will be the 4th win in the first 11 races.
You know, I was surprised like how much they had to slow up on the outside. I know Dover is a one-lane track, but it's pretty alarming the closing rate that they're getting. The 63 of McClure is still stuck on that outside. He's dropped out of the top 10 now. That's the 80 of Gator Gronkowski going by him, somewhere back towards the midfield. But yeah, I mean, up front we saw Matt Blackett a little wide. He's starting to fall back into the clutches of his teammate Alexander Rowe there for the 3rd and 4th position. They're right up bumper to bumper right now.
Better be careful there not to hook each other. I've seen that happen multiple times throughout the season already. But it is solid enough, 3-4 there. And good points hauled there for Sammy Camara, and especially now Emily York Watson, who is about 8 points away from Juan Rodriguez. Actually, Camara is 8 points behind Rodriguez. Emily York Watson's 12 back, so Camara has a very good shot of taking the points lead away from Rodriguez.
Absolutely. Unfortunately for Rodriguez, as of last lap, he was all the way in 25th. Another bad day. This has been the terrible October for Juan Rodriguez, and it just continues to crumble apart for him. And he probably will not be the point leader after today, unfortunately. And what started the season in August and September, and really September, I should say, he was dominant, but it's struggling in October for that driver. And now, a little bit on the long one, and this is what we saw at IRP. York Watson, not good, not as good on the short one, but as the one got older with old tires, kept on pulling away. And how about the 51 up into the 4th place spot? Alexander Twine, the outside, does not look to be working out, but maybe as these tires get older, that outside lane will be better. But Rose in 3rd, and Mark Richardson is absolutely flying here at Dover.
They are sending it a little too deep to the inside lane, and some of these guys are kicking it up. I saw Richardson do it, Rowe just did it there, and now the 51 had a great run off the corner. He's going to clear him, almost. They're going to be side by side off of turn number 2 down the roller coaster of the back straightaway, but that's going to be a pretty easy pass for Richardson to get up into the podium places. And now Alexander Rowe's got a queue of cars behind him. He might get sent into a bit of a free fall here.
And it does look that there he's going to fall to at least the 7th position if he doesn't get by the 78 there of Marco Bragg there. Actually, he does clear him, so that's going to be down to 6. Got passed by Carson Miller there in the 32, who has been on a bit of a hot streak in the Pro Series as of late with, was it 3 straight top 5s, looking to get his 4th?
I believe so. 5 top 5s, and those 5 top 5s are 5 top 10s. So he's basically doing the top 5 of bus strategy, and right now he is in 5th place once again. So Carson Miller, last season's champion, not doing every race this season, still inside the top 10 in points, and he is having a heck of a start here as we are almost halfway through this one here at Dover. The 17 rather is on the move as well on these older tires. Same with 78, 77. Roll slips up a little bit. These older tires are fairly hard to manage here at Dover. You got the 99 and 64. A great comeback one from Neil Zonka. 6 points, trying to have a shot at the title still. Gail Gronkowski on the move. Got the 63. Jason McClure kind of dropping back a smidge. BP Ruiz as well. But a tough boy for Angel Caderas in his 47. Running all the way back in 17th for 4th in points. And Jay Wimbledon not doing much better in the 40. Almost in outside the top 20, and the 16 might be in the top 20 right now, but a lot of drives up towards the front end points all up front. Oh my
Oh
goodness,
my
that was close
goodness.
for the
God.
point leader. Whew.
See, I was gonna say the field is really strung out back here. They're still putting everything down on the floor right now. I mean, Rodriguez almost got caught up in that mess. The 71 of Joshua Neely had to check up big time back there. Luckily, they get away with that without any issues. That was a close call there. That was almost the chaos that we come to know from Dover. I mean, back up front, Emily York Watson, that gap is 1.4 seconds now ahead of the 62 of Camara, and 51 of Mark Richardson starting to close in here. But Camara, I mean, those Ronnie racing cars are really hitting their stride here midway through this Lenovo Pro Series season.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a bit difficult there to try and get past that 52 car. Even if the 51, he is looking by Sammy Camara. It might be a bit too late, but who knows?
Oh, they
The
closed last time.
Race doesn't end until the last lap, so Mark Richardson
Oh,
might have a chance to claw back a 1.8 second gap.
Gotta see. Still got 15 laps to go, and there's enough significant tire with it, and clearly this 51 car of Lewis Matthews has a long one setup here. So if he can manage it for the final 15 laps, maybe, just maybe he can. Never mind. He just lost a little bit of ground on that 52. So, Watson, and I'm not surprised that Dwani only has a couple of wins this year, but he could have multiple times that in that Dwani Racing camp, and might be able to get 2 in a row here. Watson still pointing away, so this might be all she wrote for this race win, unless we get a late yellow. I don't want to jinx it, but we saw a late race yellow in the Sprint Series race here, so anything can happen. Mark Richardson in second, 62 of Sammy Camara in third, still a good points one, and with Camara in third and Watson in the lead, that's going to be fairly tight on which one of those two will be the point leader going into Pocono. The 41 of Matt Blatt, Carlson Miller, Marco Espinosa inside of the top 6. 7th is Javier Vasquez. He's 7th in the point standings and having another good one. Alexander Walsh still inside the top 10 and 8th. Neil Zonka in 9th, and running out the top 10 is Zayna Jeffrey here at Dover. A fun one so far is just the last 2 races have been dominated by one driver, and now Carlson Miller up into the 4th place spot, actually trying to defend from the 78 there. But we're closing in with 11 laps to go, and it's starting to close in a little bit last time by between the top 2.
yeah, but these tires are wearing out. I think if we do get a late caution, like we saw in the Sprint Series here, I think that Richardson has the car to, take the attack to Emily York Watson. But if it stays green, I mean, Benny Watson better move over, because I think there's a new Watson in town.
Well, it looks like at least the 51 is pulling away from the 62, showing that Camara, whilst good, doesn't really have the long run car as the 51 has, or even Javier Vasquez in the 17 maybe could have a good long run car if he started a bit further up in the field. He is closing up to the 78 of Marco Bragg there in the 6th position there. We'll need to see in the last 8 laps here.
62 is dropping back a little bit. I almost thought that the 41 Matt Blatt was going to do the same move that Mark Richardson did, kind of diamond 1 and 2. And this is very hairy, as Carlson Miller's going to say, no, if we're not going to make a move, I'm going to make a move for you. And he's going to make a move to protect his teammate here this week. And that's going to allow the 62 pull away massively of Sammy Camara. And now we saw already a close call. We still have 7 to go. We could have another close call there between the 41 and the 17, side by side with the 32 and 78. And now, unfortunately for Carlson Miller, he's going to be stuck up top, almost 3 wide there. with the 41 and 17. And we only have 6 laps to go, and for Emily York Watson, it's back up to almost 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Kamara, I think, is going to be safe in the third for the time being. He used up his stuff early on this one. You can tell that he has dropped another couple of seconds to the leader, York Watson, since he's got past. But none of the guys behind him are able to get by him. Like you saw, that created that little bit of a mess there. Carson Miller got to the inside, but it's also showing you just how hard it is to pass here late on. There's 5 laps to go here at Dover, and they have to run each other up the track to make sure these passes are getting completed.
Yeah, and it's basically shown here. The tire wear has definitely taken its toll on most of the field here. Kamara is now 2.3 seconds from the 51 already there. And it's pretty much guaranteed that Sammy Kamara might be in third unless Marco Bragg has anything to say about that. But how about Emily York Watson? As of late, 2 very dominating runs here for the 652. Was that caution?
No, but the 51 gained 0.3 of a second last time by.
Heh. Not sure if it's going to be enough for Mark Richardson, but good run nonetheless.
Oh boy. Emily York Watson, 2 laps to go. Definitely feeling the pressure now from the 51. Closing in fast is what we saw in the sprint series, but second place kept on closing in rapidly late in the going. But I don't think it's going to be enough here as we come to the 1 to go here in the Grotto Pizza 150. A dominating performance once again by Emily York Watson for the second race in a row. Will take the white flag. It's down to almost a second, so it was almost 2 seconds, and it's down to a second, so maybe if the 51 picked up the pace a little bit sooner, we might have had another close call. Sammy Kamara is losing spots late, might drop back to 5th, and it will be 2 race wins in a row for Emily York Watson will win the Grotto Pizza 150 at Dover.
She might have gone. She go wire to wire in 2 races in a row.
That
Or did
might
she
have
not
been
lead
the
every lap
case.
at IRP?
I think so.
That's incredible.
That is impressive there, leading over 50 consecutive laps in the last 2 races. Unless something drastic happens later on in the season, Emily York Watson might be a serious threat for the championship now.
So I'd also like to point out, Kamara losing those spots, that's going to give the point lead to Watson. She gets 5 extra points for winning, plus the additional 3 she needed to get past Kamara, because Kamara dropped from 3rd to 5th. That's going to make this still very close, but give York Watson the points lead as well. And with that fast of a car, if she can continue to keep this momentum up, that's going to be a runaway championship for her.
Absolutely. That 52 car in particular, I believe Emily York Watson's been in that car all season long, and the momentum is finally working in her favor late in the season with just 6 races to go after tonight now. And it's going to be interesting because Sammy Kamara's going to be up there for this championship, and same with Javier Vasquez. I think maybe Carson Miller might have a slim chance, BB Ruiz maybe, but a tough night for Juan Rodriguez. Was able to be good on the long one though, up to 16, so a little bit of a points management right there for the 16 car. But Angel Gutierrez with a bad night in 19th, and Hallie Anderson Jr. 9th in points, in 23rd. Wimbledon 5th in points, minus he is in 24th. So there might have been some drivers that had a good night, but some others that had a bad night that were up there in the point standings. Watson, Richardson, Blatt, Kamara, Vasquez, Zonka, Rowe, Miller, and Jeffrey round out the top 10. A couple of close calls throughout the field here in this one, but we were lucky enough to not have a yellow, and that would have changed everything, especially with how fast the 51 was in the last 8 laps, but it is Emily York Watson dominating the last 2 races, and I believe leading every single lap of the last 2, leading 100 laps in the last 2 races at ILP and Dover. And it's going to be interesting here in the final 6 races at Pocono next week, or starting with Pocono next week. Science will happen momentarily for that. And what's the final thoughts of Logan and Matthew on a pretty entertaining Dover race from second on back?
Well, like you said, it was second on back for the most part. That is what happens a lot of the times, with these races. But they're still fun to watch. There's a reason we're still doing them, and I think Dover, it wasn't a bad race at all. It's just sometimes you have a car that's just that good, and Emily York Watson is just that good right now. She's got all the momentum in the world. She had a great start in the Powerade Truck Series over on your channel, and she's getting the job done here as well. So I'm excited to see if she can continue to, if she can put a hold down on this championship.
Yeah, and especially with runs like this and last week, I would be surprised if Emily York Watson has a good run for this second half of the season like Juan Rodriguez had towards the first half. Juan Rodriguez, however, might have used up his stuff way too soon here with how the last few weeks have turned out. So it could go either way for this championship battle.
Absolutely, and as long as still within 30 points going to Talladega, anything can and probably could happen. So, gotta see how it all goes down. Thanks for Matthew and Logan for joining me up here in the booth here at Dover, and we will see you guys next week at Pocono for race number 12 on the season, and science for the Triple Triangle at Pocono will be happening momentarily. Congratulations to Emily York Watson on a dominating win once again at Dover, and we will see you guys next week at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono Raceway.